Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. John Kelly Profiler here, and welcome. Welcome to part 3 of our very, very sad story, Who Took Summer Wells? The name of our show today is Who's the Boogeyman? There's a boogeyman here. Somebody took Summer Wells, right? She's not home. Somebody took her somewhere. That's what we got to look into. Right now, I want to talk about everybody's innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. That's our disclaimer. Everybody's innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Also, everybody's asking me, John, how did you become a profiler? John, how did you become a profiler? How did you kick drugs? How did you go into recovery many decades ago, okay, and be reborn, okay? How were you reborn? How did you kick drugs? Where did you go then? And how did you become a profiler? Discovering Lazarus has all the answers. Thank you so much for all your purchases. I really appreciate it. So anyway, now we're looking at different scenarios, right? And we have 3 scenarios. We have stranger abduction. We have person that knows the family abduction, or pretty much coincide with each other. We have did someone walk away, and then we have a family, and was there an accident in the family? I'm kind of reversing it today, and the first thing I want to focus on is the family. I want to look at the scenario of the family. Right? The family system sticks together like glue. A lot of family systems stick together like glue. And dysfunctional family systems, because they are scared of law enforcement and they are scared of the authorities in general just pulling them apart, stick together like glue and concrete and steel. Okay, so a dysfunctional family system is really hard to pull apart. I mean, they're bonded to each other in a pretty strong way. Number 1, a family accident. Okay, so if there was a family accident, we have to ask ourselves, who are the players in the family and what's the risk reward? Who has more to lose or more to gain? When you're questioning a person, if they're lying, do they have more to gain versus more to lose? Now remember, more to lose can be obstruction of justice. Lying to the authorities at times can be considered obstruction of justice. And in this case, with all the manpower and money and everything that's gone into it and going into it so far, I would believe they would try and come up with a charge like that if anybody's lying to them, okay? So the first thing we have to look at, I'll start with Candace, is Candace lying about anything? I don't know. If she is lying about anything, what's her risk? Her risk is losing, the whole family, all the kids, being separated from them, possibly going to jail for something. I don't think so, but you never know. And then the other thing is, what's her reward? Her reward, okay, is pretty much keeping the family together. That's what's most important. And then when we're looking at Don, we have to say to ourselves, well, what's the risk reward there? Okay. So if Don was lying, he would be risking probably obstruction of justice. They'd probably come down on him very hard. Because he has a record, they'd probably put him away in prison for quite a while. That's his risk. So for lying, his reward would be, well, I got to keep this family together and not go to jail and, keep working and keep making money. I mean, that's the most important thing. So you have to understand this risk reward too doesn't have to have anything to do with the disappearance of Summer. It can have to do with Don or Candace believing that if they say just the wrong thing, that the Children Protective Services, Community Protective Services will come down on them and break up the family system anyway, and believe it's too harsh of a place or too toxic of a place for children to be. As we know, they removed the 3 boys already. Okay, we know the 3 boys have been removed. So for how long they'll be removed, that remains to be seen. And that's really going to be predicated on how honest Candace and Don are, okay? Now, the boys, certainly, they risk, if they're not truthful, being kept away from their parents. That is the worst thing you can do with kids, threaten kids by keeping them away from their parents, as long as their parents aren't really physically abusive. I mean, if it's neglect, but the kids are having a good time, they're going to lie because they want to stay home. They don't want to be pulled away from their parents, okay? So they may not understand neglect or what neglect is or what the law considers neglect, but kids can pick up pretty quickly on what hurts them and what physical or any other kind of abuse is. I don't think that's at all going on here. I don't think that's at play, but I'm just talking about the risk reward for the kids, and they're going to want to stay as a family system with their parents, Don and Candace, and they're going to try as hard as they can to try to make that happen, to try and get home as quick as possible. So that's their, risk-reward situation. And again, it's not saying that people, won't lie for other reasons than Summer being missing. I mean, there could be other reasons that in their head they believe will make them look like they're unfit parents, okay? And so that's something that trickles through a dysfunctional family system all the time, and the kids all the time, lots of times, are told. I'm not saying it's going on here, but I've seen many dysfunctional systems where the kids are told, don't tell them this, don't say this, don't say that, don't say this outside the house. Make sure you don't tell anybody this. This is our secret. We got to keep our secret, because if you don't, they're going to take you away. They're going to take you away. They're going to take you away from mommy and daddy, okay? And I'm not saying that's the situation here. I don't think it is. But that is what goes on many, many times. And Child Protective Services, I'm sure, has seen tons of this. Now we get to Grandma, okay? And Grandma is the one that I believe has more risk reward than anybody else. She has more to lose. I mean, she has more skin in the game. She's really, really in a crazy situation or bad situation. Now, first, let's take a look at it from the beginning. Grandma has lost a daughter. Not that she had a daughter that died and she could give the daughter a proper burial. She has a daughter missing for many years. That's Grandma, okay? John Walsh should be the first one to tell you the worst situation that takes place is not knowing where your child is. So Grandma has not known where her child is, where her daughter is for all these years, okay? And that will eat up a parent inside. That's number one. Number two, now Grandma has lost her granddaughter. She's lost her granddaughter. You want to talk about magnifying, duplicating loss and grief and trauma? My God, this lady has to be, like just pushing herself every day just to stay together. I mean, this is like a grandmother's worst nightmare, okay? And it was a mother's worst nightmare when her daughter was missing. So she's gotten a double dose here with Summer being missing. What's the skin in her game? Let me tell you something. One thing for sure, when we're looking at risk reward, she doesn't want Candace removed. I mean, that would be the end of it. If something happened and it was Candace's fault and she knew something, I mean, and have her other daughter gone as well, off to, some kind of punishment. Okay, so you got to understand, how truthful is Grandma going to be? It's going to be interesting to find out. I'm not saying she's going to lie, but how truthful is she going to be? Because as far as I'm concerned, Grandma has more skin in the game than anybody. And, definitely a much bigger risk-reward situation. I mean, if the family broke up, where would she live? Where would she move her trailer? How would she support herself? Okay? She'd pretty much be alone, right? I mean, if anything ever happened to Candace, so we have to take this all into consideration. She certainly doesn't want to lose another grandchild. Don, it seems from what I heard last night on his phone call with Chris McDonough, and Chris McDonough has a great show. You definitely want to watch it at the Interview Room. He does complete comprehensive coverage of the whole case. One-stop shop, Chris McDonough. He's terrific. Okay, the show's terrific. So anyway, this is what you're looking at, and this is your risk-reward situation throughout the family system that is really trying to stay together. All right. Yes, and it's something that Candace and Don are adamant about, very adamant about, is that Summer did not walk away. Summer would not leave the yard. Summer would hang around the house, maybe just go out to her swing, walk around the house, play with her toys, but she wouldn't go off the property. So with them being adamant about it, I got to take their word for that. However, she's only a 5-year-old little girl, and 5-year-old minds can do different things at different times. And, maybe she saw an animal and she wanted to chase it, or, I'm talking like a dog or a cat or, maybe a squirrel, something. I don't know. I don't know what's in a 5-year-old's mind, okay? I know they're pretty much concerned if they've heard enough from mommy and daddy, that they want to stay safe and that it's dangerous leaving the yard. But bottom line, you're dealing with a 5-year-old. A 5-year-old that's only 40 pounds. God forbid she goes off that property and runs into a coyote or runs into a bear or runs into any other bigger animals. And there's a lot of predators out there from what we know and from what we understand. So, that's something we have to think about. But for right now, it's not primary. Search has come up with nothing. Supposedly, they're going to continue to search some more. We'll see. Now we talk about abductions. Was Summer abducted? Let's talk about possibly somebody she knew, a friend of the family, has been to the house many times, knew the area. And it could be not so much a friend of the family. It could be a drug dealer who pretends to be a friend of the family or has hung around the family, but has been to the house on a number of occasions. Now, there's other people that have been to the house as well. I mean, we've got some different people that were walking around the area that are known to the family, so you have to take that into consideration. The thing that bothers me, though, is pretty much where I look, anywhere I look here, I see some kind of addictive illness, or I hear something about addictive illness. And what I'm hearing about is this is a highly trafficked road by meth addicts. Meth addicts are trafficking, driving up and down this road on a daily basis to pick up methamphetamine. Methamphetamine's the worst drug you could possibly use. Okay, it eats you from the inside out. Meth will make you crazier and uglier than any other drug on the planet as fast as possible. Once you get on meth, you're on the express. Okay, you're on the expressway to hell. There's no question about it. And the worst thing about meth is that meth is not only a strong central nervous system stimulant, but it is an extremely hypersexual drug. And meth addicts really, really can go off sexually. They can go off mentally and have what's called a methamphetamine-induced psychosis, but they can go off sexually too, and they can get so wrapped up and so involved in various sexual acts and sexual preoccupations that they would never even consider if they weren't on meth. But meth will make you crazy. It will make you sex crazy. It will make you mentally ill. And it will make you ugly. Okay? It's called methamphetamine psychosis. Anyway, with all that being said, you know, a lot of prayers for summer. God bless summer. Let's hope summer gets home safely soon. I pray for that. Most importantly, you guys are great. Please continue to comment. If you like us, like us. If you'd like to subscribe, please subscribe to us. Thank you for all your subscriptions, all your comments. Most importantly, stay safe out there with this Delta thing running around. Pretty bad stuff. Very contagious. They say it's as contagious as chicken pox. It was pretty contagious back in the day. So anyway, stay safe. Have a great day. God bless, and thank you.